We're catching up with Hidden Path Entertainment here at Gamescom, and you know, the 2 gives it away a little bit. You're working on a sequel. Can you tell us a little bit about what you wanted to add to it, and why you want to go back and do another game?
Sure. So over the last several years, we've been able to bring Defense Grid, a top tower defense game, to a lot of people. The audience has been growing, and as we get a larger and larger audience, we've been able to see things that people want in the game that we weren't able to provide the first time. We're able to do user-created content, let people create their own levels and share them with each other. We're even going to let players sell levels to other players as well. And we bring multiplayer to the game as well. We'll have cooperative and competitive multiplayer modes so that people can play together with their family and friends or play against rivals as well.
Kind of nice thing that we user-generated content, instead of taking a leaf out of Steam's book, how they are sort of growing their business by actually sort of monetizing what players are already creating, or modders or whatnot.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've been very much inspired by what Steam is doing. We worked with them on Counter-Strike Global Offensive in between the 2 defense grids, and we saw that marketplace that they've created in Team Fortress and in Dota, allowing players to create content for other players, be extremely popular. Players love it, the creators love it, the game people love it.
So, like, the tower defense genre is really popular. What do you, if you just look at the core of it, what is it about it that really appeals to people?
I think people like building things, and I think they like creating and optimizing, but they also like protecting and being able to defend. It's a good side. I mean, a lot of what comes from tower defense is mods on strategy games like early StarCraft or Warcraft 3, and I think what we've seen is people like just taking one side of it. I want to build my base. I want to protect my base. I want to protect the things, and I want to optimize how those defenses work based on the economy that I have available.
So what kind of tack do you take? Do you think that it should be like that, and you should just lay it out, and that you shouldn't rely too much on sort of reactive gameplay, or do you add a little element of reactive gameplay to sort of keep things interesting?
Well, we absolutely want to add reactive gameplay to keep things interesting, and so we've added several things. One of the things we have is dynamic levels, where the level can actually change during the mission, and new sections can be added to move aliens to, or path aliens, or the users might even get choices between which sections they're going to send aliens to, with potential drawbridges or other things that move. So allowing players choice and creativity in how they solve problems. I mean, in a way, it's a puzzle game as well as a strategy game, and giving players a balanced system so that they can solve it any way they like is something we really enjoy. We have players come to us and say, "Oh, I solved level 8. I came up with the right solution." And we look at it and we go, "Oh, we didn't know you could solve it that way." So there is no one right solution. It's very much a balanced system that people can bring what they like to do into it. And I think that's what makes tower defense so good, is that it takes creativity from you as well as from the game, and it makes it together into a solution.
I also like the fact that the sort of, whenever a good tower defense games, when I fail, I already the failure sort of gives birth to a new tactics, a new idea that I got to try the next time I play it, and the next time I play that level, or try it again.
Yeah, when we first were making the very first defense grid, we had a play test where we put someone in a room and we're watching them play and we're realizing, oh, that's not clear, that's not done, oh, there's so many problems. We did the play test way too early, so we go in to tell the person, oh, we're going to stop the play test because the game's not ready, and they go, no, get out of here, I need to solve this level. And we're like, wait a minute, we've been taught as game developers that frustration is bad. And frustration is bad if it feels like the game is in between you and what you're trying to accomplish, but there is some joy as a player of getting frustrated and then coming up with a new idea and wanting to try that idea out right away. And so that's why one of the features like the backspace key, or going back a checkpoint, so that you don't have to restart the entire game, you could just try your idea out right while you're playing, was a really important feature in Defense Grid, and will be in Defense Grid 2 as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point you're making there. Even though sometimes it's nice to see the whole thing play out, just to sort of get a better feel for the whole flow of the level, even though you're failing.
one of the things we're going to add for Defense Grid 2 is the idea of having a score that progresses over time. So in the original Defense Grid, we just had resources, but we've now separated resources and score in DG2. And so with that score, we're actually able to reward you for all the different behaviors throughout the game, and you can watch that score progress and see a graph of it. You can compare that graph to how you played last time, to how your friends played, if you're playing multiplayer, to how your opponent is doing, and where you might be able to, be more successful. And then we're going to annotate that graph with events that take place in the game. This is where I sold towers. This is where I upgraded. So you can look back at your graph and go, oh, I want to change. I want to do this a little differently in time, not just spatially as well.
Very sort of conceptual and meta, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So where are you at in development right now with the game, and what kind of thing is going on?
So about 6 months ago, we started Defense Grid 2's development. We're building it on top of an engine that we've had at Hidden Path from other work that we've done, called the Hidden Worlds engine. But for 6 months, people have been focused on making it DG2. So we just got to the point where we have a first playable level. We've got a lot of features in. We've got some first visualizations. We have a lot of visual features to add. We have a lot of tactical features to add. For example, now we can have a path that shows what the current path is for aliens, and when you're about to build a tower, it updates that path to show you where the path will be after you build this tower. We also have a heat map feature which shows you where the damage of the towers is and where it's concentrated and how well that maps to the path. And so we're trying to give you more visual information to help you make really good decisions about, do I want to upgrade that tower? Do I want to build over there? Do I want to move the path all the way over here? The more choices a player has that are interesting and the more information they have to make those choices, the more fun it's going to be.
Exactly, and that also goes back to the fact that when you to sort of realizing a solution to a problem when you encounter it, and sort of what kind of options are available for you, it makes it a little bit easier to see those, perhaps.
Yeah, Defense Grid and Defense Grid 2 are both these kinds of games where 5 minutes after you're done playing, you want to go back because you just came up with an idea of how I can get past that one thing and I can do it differently. And not just the development team, but we hear this from players. It's the kind of game you wake up in the middle of the night and you want to try a new solution because you actually dream about the game, because it's a problem solving that goes on in the background. I think anytime you have puzzles that are very easily accessible, for certain kinds of personalities, it really envelops them and makes them have a lot of fun.
So what platforms are you targeting for this?
So right now, Defense Grid 2 is on Steam, on PC, Mac, and Linux. There's possibility we'll come to other platforms, but at the moment, the team is focused on Steam.
And perhaps sometime in 2014 then? Or?
We'll be out in the first half of 2014.
Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.